This is 1.10 area and perimeter. You guys should already have your formulas for the perimeter and area of a square, rectangle, circle, and triangle. So I'm going to go over some of the homework. So let's start off with finding the area and perimeter of figures 1 through 7. So let's first start off with the area. So the area of a rectangle, length times width. So in this case our length is 6 inches and our width is 4. So area equals 6 inches times 4 inches. 6 times 4 is 24. And inches times inches is inches squared. So area equals 24 inches squared. Now, perimeter is going to be all of the sides of the rectangle added up together. So we can use this. We have 2 lengths and 2 widths, so P equals 2L plus 2W, or we can just add all the sides together. So that would be P equals 2L plus 2W. The length is 6 inches and the width is 4. 2 times 6 is 12. 2 times 4 is 8. And then we add these together. 12 plus 8 is 20 inches. That's our perimeter. And there's number 1. It's completed. So number 2, we have a square. We know all the sides are congruent and we have 90-degree angles. So with a square, all we have to do is, for the area, we just multiply side times side. And for the perimeter, since all the sides are the same, we just multiply 4 times s, and that'll give us the distance around. So area equals s times s, or s squared. So that would be 3 meters squared. 3 squared is 9, and my units are also going to be square units, so meters squared. And then my perimeter for a square is 4s. P equals 4s. I have 4 sides, so 3 meters plus 3 meters plus 3 meters plus 3 meters is the same as saying 4 times 3 meters. 4 times 3 is 12. 12 meters. And distance is a single unit of measurement, so I don't need meters squared for this. I just want meters, 12 meters. Okay, so the next one is a circle. So we're looking for the area of the circle, and a perimeter of a circle is known as its circumference. So over here, here's our information for a circle. Area equals pi r squared. That's for the area, and the circumference is 2 pi times the radius, 2 pi r. That's for the circumference. So let's start off with area again. Area equals pi r squared. So the instructions don't say how to round, so we can leave this in terms of pi, or we can multiply it, and we would have to round in this case. So my radius is 5. So 5 squared would be 25 pi, and centimeters squared. So this is our answer if we leave it in terms of pi. If I multiply 25 times pi here, pi is approximately 3.14, I would get an approximation of the area. But I can leave it like this. This is fine for right now. Perimeter is the same as circumference for a circle is 2 pi times the radius r. So circumference equals 2 pi times 5 centimeters. And 2 times 5 is 10 pi centimeters. Again, I can leave this in terms of pi and not multiply it out, but if I did, let me do it this time for this one. 10 times pi, well, pi is approximately 3.14. So 10 times 3.14 is the same as just moving the decimal over 1, so that would be 31.4 centimeters is my circumference. And that would be the distance around the circle, whereas the area here is actually the boundary within the circle. Okay, so let's move on. Now we have an irregular shape. Here we have, which looks like we've got a rectangle and we have a triangle, and the triangle here can be broken up into two triangles. So I'm looking for the area of this whole shape. So I know how to find the area of a rectangle. So I have an area of a rectangle. So we have the area of the rectangle, I'll just say A sub r, and I'm going to have to add the area of this triangle. And we know the area of a rectangle is the base times the height, or length times width. Length times the width. I've got the width here is 4, and I know that this is part is 4 and this is 4, so that means this entire length would be 8. So I've got that. That would be 8 times 4, and there are no units shown in this one, so it's unitless. But now I need to know the area of a rectangle, and the area of a rectangle I have up here in your formulas is going to be 1/2 times the base times the height. And we can see this derived, this 1/2 comes from half of a rectangle. So if I have a rectangle and I take half of that rectangle, and we call this the base and the height right here, this half that I have represents my triangle. So in the formula, I see I've got that 1/2 part right there because it's actually half of a rectangle. And I could make my rectangle here. On this one, you can see that this part and this part would be half this part. Okay, so let's go solve the area here. So I've got plus 1/2 base times height. So my base is going to be 8, and my height in this case is 3. And the 5 right here plays no part in our area calculations. We'll use that later for the perimeter. So 1/2 of 8 would be, well, actually, let's back up here. Let me just, area of the triangle. There we go. A, so A sub r plus A sub t. So that would be 1/2 base times height. And this would be, just to be consistent here, base is 8 and height is 3. This is my height right here. And so 8 times 4 is 32. So 1/2 of 8 here is 4, and 4 times 3 is 12. Or I can say 8 times 3 is 24, and half of 24 would be 12. So 32 plus 12 is 44. And I can say units squared. Okay, there's my area. Now let's take a look at the perimeter, and the perimeter is just going to be all sides added together here. So if I take the perimeter of the rectangle, that's fine, except I would only use 3 out of the 4 sides. And same with the triangles, I'm only using 1. Well, out of this triangle, I'm using 2 out of the 3 sides. So I just want to add up the sides. So I know this is 4, this is 8, this is 4. This is 5. This is a 3, 4, 5 triangle. This is going to be a 3, 4, 5 triangle. I'm just going to add all these up. So it's going to be 4 plus 8 plus 4 plus 5 plus 5. This outside shape would be a pentagon. There's 5 sides, so I better have 5 units here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So let's see. 5 and 5 is 10 over here. And 4 and 4 here is 8, and this 8 would be 16. And so my perimeter would be 26 units in length. And let's box that in. And we're done with that. Okay, let's shoot down here to number 5. I want to find the area of this triangle. It's 1/2 base times the height. So 1/2 b. So in this case, my base I can call this unit, this length right here, and my height is this. So basically the relationship between the base and the height for a triangle, it needs to be perpendicular. It needs to be 90 degrees between these two sides. So base is 15 millimeters and the height is 8 millimeters. Okay. So half of 15 is going to be a decimal. Why don't we do half of 8 over here? 1/2 8 is 4, and then 4 times 15. So this, I could say 15 times 4, which would give me 60 millimeters squared. There's my area. So let's do perimeter. It's just all the sides added together for a triangle. So it's just going to be 8 plus 17 plus 15. Okay, so 8 plus 17 is 25, plus 15 is 40 millimeters. Let's make sure I did that right. Yes. Okay. Perimeter of this triangle is 40 millimeters. Okay, number 6. Number 6, I have an irregular shape here. So I want to find the area first. So there's a couple of ways I can do this. I see I've got rectangles that are put together here. So I see there's this rectangle here that I could separate, and then there's a rectangle here. So I have this one, and then this one, and then this one. 3 rectangles, and I can just add all those areas together. Or I could see that there's a big rectangle here, and I can subtract the areas that are being cut out. So why don't we do that 1 instead. So let's back up here. Let's take this as it were a whole, well, let's put that back in. Let's take this as a whole rectangle. So my area is going to be the large rectangle subtracting the cutaway pieces. Let's just say A sub C. So my large rectangle here would be base, which would be or length times the width, and my length is 2 centimeters here, and this is 1, so this would be 1 centimeter, and another 1 centimeter, that's 4 centimeters. And my height here is also 4, so this is a square. Now I'll be cutting out these pieces here, so this is 2 by 1, and this one right here is also a 2 by 1, so I'll be cutting out two 2 by 1 pieces. So I can say, I'll be cutting out 2 length times width here. They're exactly the same rectangle, so 2 centimeters and 1 centimeter would be the width. So 4 times 4 is 16. 2 times 2 times 1 would be 4. So this would be 12 centimeters squared is my area. Now for my, let's see here, I need some room now for, let's shrink that a little bit. Perimeter. We're just going to add up all the sides together here. So why don't I start at this point right here? So I've got in this direction. So I have 2 plus 1 plus 2 plus 4 plus 1. Let's see. So 2 plus 1 plus 2 plus 4 plus 1. This is going to be 2 here. 2 plus 1 plus 2 plus 2 plus 3. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 sides here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 sides. Okay, so I think I got everything. So 2 plus 1 is 3, 5, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 20 centimeters is my perimeter. So my area is 12 centimeters squared, and my perimeter is 20 centimeters. 2 plus 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 3. Good. Okay, last one here on finding the area and perimeter. Number 7. Another irregular shape. So I've got 3 shapes all combined in one. One, I have a rectangle. That didn't really work. I have a rectangle. And I have 2 semicircles. So area is going to be the area of the rectangle plus area of the big semicircle and area of the small semicircle. Let's say big semicircle plus area of the small semicircle. Okay. So area of the rectangle here is going to be length times width. And the big semicircle is going to be 1/2 of the area of a circle. So an area of a circle is pi r squared. Area is pi r squared. So I need 1/2 of that. So 1/2 of pi r squared, and the same with a small semicircle, and the radius is going to be this length and this length. So this is the radius of the big one, and this is the radius of the small one. So 1/2 pi r squared. So area equals 10 feet by 5 feet plus 1/2 pi, and the radius, so the diameter here is the same as the side of the rectangle. So if the length of the rectangle is 10, the radius would be half of that, so that would be 5 feet squared, 1/2 pi times, in this case, the width of the rectangle would be the diameter of the small semicircle, and so the radius would be half of that, so that would be 2.5 feet squared. Okay, so 10 times 5 is 50. And now to do this problem, first I need to do the exponent first, so that'd be 25, and then I multiply. So 25 times 1/2 would be 25 over 2 pi plus, same with this, so now I need to do 2.5 squared divided by 2 times pi. So now's a point where we could start rounding some of this stuff. So why don't we do that? So we can do this all in one place. So let's go to my calculator here. So we've got 50 plus 25 divided by 2 pi. 50 plus 25 divided by 2 times pi. And let's see, pi is right here. Alright. Plus, so we have 1 divided by 2 times pi times 2.5 squared. So let's see if this is the way I want to write it. 10 times 5 is 50, and then it says that's 25 over 2 pi times 1/2 pi times 2.5 squared equals, so 99.08. So why don't we just round this to the nearest tenth? So that would be 99.0. Alright, so let's just take this part out right here. We get 99.0 feet squared. Here's our area. Feet. Okay, so now our last part of this, we need to find the perimeter. So the perimeter is going to be this side of my rectangle, this side of my rectangle, this half of the circle's circumference, and this half the smaller circle's circumference. Okay, so perimeter is going to be 1 length plus 1 width plus half the circumference of the large semicircle and half the circumference of the small semicircle. So 10 feet plus 5 plus 1/2 Now the circumference is 2 pi r, so 2 pi, and the radius in this case is going to be 5, plus 1/2 the smaller one, so 1/2 2 pi, and the radius is 2.5. And my units are feet, so we'll just remember that. So this is going to be, let's go back to our calculator. So I'm going to type in 10 plus 5 is 15. 15 plus, let's do 1 divided by 2. Well, let's see here. Let's make this simple. We've got 1/2 of 2, so these are going to cancel, and 1/2 of 2, these are going to cancel. So this is just going to be pi times 5 plus pi times 2.5. So this is going to be 15 plus pi times 5 plus pi times 2.5. 38.56. So let's round this nearest tenth. That'd be 38.6. Perimeter equals 38.6 feet. 38.6. Yep, 38.6 feet. Let's box that in. And there's our answer for the first 7. Find the area and perimeter. I hope that was useful for you. Part 2 I'll do in a separate video because this is getting really long. So 4 more problems to come, and then part 2.